All right, shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation. Big Q in here representing the Sports Coma. Shout out to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show. Shout out to FanDuel. And appreciate you guys. Salute to the mighty Who Dats. Man, we in this thing on Friday afternoon. Listen, fam, I just wanted to get at you guys. Yesterday, man, we did the schedule release show. Had some internet problems. I thank the family members for kind of bearing with me through that. But what I really wanted to do was kind of come back with a cleaner version. I hope my internet stands up this time around for you guys as well. So big ups to you. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We up in this thing, Sports Coma style. Now, we talked about this yesterday. We talked about all these teams here. I know we talked about the fact that the Saints, they said that the Saints had what they consider the second best, is the second easiest schedule, rather, in the NFL. Now, as you dig into this schedule, and I know a lot of you guys have already, you can fastly realize that it's simply not the case. This is not an easy schedule. I mean, you open up against two really tough teams, two playoff teams, in my estimation, on the road in their buildings. And what's interesting is that if you don't bring your game, you could be down 0-2 very fast. So it puts pressure on the Saints right away, as opposed to have a cupcake game, whether it's Arizona, Cleveland, or the Raiders. You don't get those guys until later on in the schedule. So jumping right in, and it's good. That's why I say it's good in the second year that we had the offense kind of came together on the back end of last year and kind of pushed forward. And then that way we were able to have a lot of success, because you've seen a light bulb went on in the heads of Tyler Shough and other Saints. Now we know Chris Olave is going to be healthy come time. Tyler Shough is going to be there. The improvement of the offensive line is going on as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all stuff clicks and jobs going forward. So with that being said, it's not easy opening up weeks 1 and weeks 2 against the Lions and against the Ravens. Now, listen, I'm going to have breakdowns for each one of these games coming up really soon. So it'll be really cool just kind of going to the schedule and kind of breaking down and looking at this thing. So right away, you got to go into camp understanding, hey, man, we open up, because that Detroit game is going to be a rock'em sock'em game. It's going to feel like a mid-season game between both teams. So we know there's going to be some rust. We know last year the Detroit Lions really fired off on all cylinders in terms of their offense. They were really good despite the fact losing their offensive coordinator to the Chicago Bears. I ain't going to say they didn't miss a beat, but that offense still excelled. They kind of struggled on the defensive end. They had some injuries and inconsistencies there. That kind of hurt the team long range. But outside of that, Detroit's going to be a foe, man. So is the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. We know they got a new coach there. So a lot of this is going to be put up there at the forefront. And of course, as we get to our first couple of we got 3 road home games, rather, which is really cool. Like you have 2 really tough games, week 1 and week 2. Then weeks 3, 4, and 5, you have 3 home games, right? The Raiders, Falcons, and the Vikings, right? 2 of those teams are historically teams that the Saints don't like. We don't, rivalry. We respect, shout out to my dog Lo and a lot of the Falcon family that's cool with the Sports Coma and the mighty Who Dat Nation. It's a healthy respect, right? Some people is not so much, but here's a healthy respect, But the having games against them and the Vikings, historically speaking, we don't like the Vikings. We know why. I don't have to bring that up. The Cowboys is another one. We don't see them on this schedule this year, but those are like 3 or 4 teams. You could throw the 49ers. They're not on this schedule either, thank goodness. But, those teams are historically, we don't really care too much about those teams, right? But nonetheless, we do get the Raiders, which is going to be a team that's starting from the bottom. They had the worst record in the NFL. This is going to be a team coming in. This is a really good game for the Saints to have after coming off the road with those 2 tough games, to get the Raiders in the dome. Doesn't mean we sleep on them, because Kirk Cousins is a guy that can kind of lead the charge. He got a lot of weapons out there to kind of lead that offense. Ashton Genty, all those guys. Brock Bowers is another really fantastic player they got a few people, more than a few people on offense to kind of galvanize and push this thing forward. So we can't sleep on any of these teams, right? But nonetheless, getting the Raiders in week 3 to open up the regular season home game is really awesome. It's going to be rocking in the Superdome. I can already see it. And then, of course, week 4's matchup, the Monday Night Football game. So we get a little extra time from the Raiders contest. We see the Falcons in the 4th game of the season. And we're looking to take care of business. This is going to be really epic in this game because, number one, the Saints have to pay the Falcons back for sweeping them last year, right? And we really were dealing with injuries and stuff like that. We really didn't play as well as we were supposed to. They were still trying to figure it out. But now with Kellen Moore don't want to be known as the coach that can't beat the Falcons. He's 0-2 against the Falcons thus far. He wants to fix that, and he will fix that in this matchup on Monday night. The Dome is going to be rocking. It's on Monday night. It's a primetime game. We back on the primetime schedule, and we're going to have more primetime matchups later on the year when the flex stuff start happening. You're going to see. Then we were week 5 against the Vikings. They come to town with Kyler Murray. Justin Jefferson was upstairs talking about what he wanted to bring to the matchup as well. And he made mention of some stuff going into it about coming home. Let me play that for you guys about what Justin Jefferson had to say about him coming home. Y'all listen to this. Let me move this out the way, put this here. Here we go. And listen to what he had to say about coming home to play the Saints. Listen to this.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited for sure. The last time I've been to New Orleans was, I think it was year 2, or COVID year, one of the two. I think one of those two. So it's been a couple years, and I'm definitely looking forward to being in front of my family, friends. Of course, just like the pictures y'all see, being in the stadium that I won the national championship. Just all of the great memories that I've had growing up and just over the years of playing football. And I'm always trying to beat the home state.
All right, so that's Justin Jefferson, man. Shout out to that brother, LSU Tiger and Minnesota Vikings star wide receiver. And it's going to be interesting, but I won't sour your day. But we gonna take that victory, brother. We gonna take care of business. And the Saints secondary is going to be tested at one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the NFL. Most certainly a top 3 guy coming to town. They have also very good wide receivers there for Kyler Murray to throw to. It's going to be a test. It's not going to be easy. That's why I said a lot of these games, you're looking at these teams done some stuff. Like even the Raiders, they bring in Kirk Cousins. If Mendoza's not ready, Cousins can still galvanize, move stuff. You see what the Vikings did with bringing Kyler Murray in. They knew McCarthy was struggling, so they bring in Kyler Murray. He's healthy. See how he kind of moves that offense with all those key pieces there as well. There's going to be interesting there. And of course, the Saints in week number 6 travel they travel to the New York to take on the Giants. Now, what's interesting about this is the Baltimore game and the Giants game up in the cold weather climate. We know that coming into at that time is not going to be having all that snow and all this other kind of stuff. So weather, insofar as snow, it could rain. We don't know. But as terms of the snow and all that, that won't be a factor. The Saints will be able to kind of go in there and take care of business. So that's cool in its own right? And I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be a fun matchup. I think the Saints win that. I ain't going to give my calls on who wins or loses, but I do think that's going to be a fun game because Tyler Shough versus Jackson Dart, 2 very athletic quarterbacks. I think it's going to be a very high flying duo in terms of the offenses kind of throwing and doing anything. Malik Neighbors and a few other people that's playing. I think it's going to be interesting with the Giants. And that's, of course, that's where Coach Harbaugh is coaching with the Giants. So he's going to bring a grittiness to that matchup. So it's not going to be like last year where we just kind of walk over them. Giants added a lot of resources to the team. So that's going to be a certain kind of toughness going up to New York and coming back with a dub. Then, of course, we take on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Paris. This is an international game. Saints going to Paris. They're going to France to take on the Steelers. The Steelers team that was in the playoffs last year. Steelers looking at it saying, hey, man, this is going to be a good matchup. The Saints are going to be listed as the home team, but we have to bring it. Now, what's weird about this is the fact that the Saints will meet up with them, and it's an off-putting time. They're not used to playing at 8:30 in the morning. So this is going to be need for adjustment, right? This is going to take you out of your norm. And that is some of these things that we see in this schedule will test the Saints, like early on weeks 1 and 2 against the Lions and the Ravens, right? That's going to kind of test us. The international game in France, where we have to get up at early in the morning. We have to watch the game at 8:30 in the morning, so they're going to be out there practicing 6 o'clock in the morning, all this kind of stuff. So they'll have to adjust and not be sloppy or play like they sleeping and all this kind of stuff, because that's a game that you want to come back and win. You don't want to lose to the Steelers, and then the bye week follows the international game, and then you have to sit on that loss all the way until week number 9 when you face off against the Browns. So you want to take care of business and feel good from that in an extended time frame all the way until when you get an opportunity to take on the Browns in the first game of November. So that's going to be interesting to see how they handle. And of course, the bye week falls not perfectly. I'd rather it be between weeks 9 and 10, but it coming after the international game is good because it doesn't stress the Saints. It doesn't, cause us all this kind of stuff. It allows the Saints to kind of sink back in naturally to their routine, right? To get the week 9 matchup. And speaking of which, the Saints come home for actual home, right? Not an away field, that's home field home, but actually in the dome against the Browns and the Panthers. So we open up this. We got the first matchup with the NFC South matchup against the Falcons in week number 4 Monday Night Football, and then it's a while before we get the Carolina matchup in weeks number 10. Right, that'll be in the dome. So you got the Browns and the Panthers at home in the dome. It's going to be interesting. These are noontime kickoff games, so it'll be fine. The Cleveland game, I think the Saints should be ready for that contest. We know, you got Garrett there. He'll be putting pressure on the Saints. The Browns added some more people there to try to, fire up their offense, get their defenses together, and all this type of stuff. They got a new coach over there running things, see if they can get some success there. So there'll be some fooling around in terms of them figuring things out. But when you get to that part of the schedule, like you're already 2 months into the schedule. From that point, the Browns game after the bye week, the Saints will be 2 months into the schedule. They'll be 2 months into their schedule in that Browns matchup, which means 2 months in means that the Saints should have a idea of what they're doing offensively, defensively. We know we're going to have some new pieces that get involved to figure out what they have to do to learn to be effective. But this is some of the stuff that we will be paying attention to, right, going forward. For that second matchup against the NFC South matchup against Carolina, that'll be huge because a lot of people believe that the NFC South will come down between Carolina and the Saints, and to get that one at home, we cannot lose any home games against our NFC South rivals. Can we agree on that? Who that nation? Great Saint Think Tank. We cannot afford to lose any home games against our rivals. All home games we should win. I know we ain't gonna win all our home games. We might lose some to a couple of these other teams, but it'll be cool if the Saints go undefeated at home. But against these rivals, we need to win all of those games against the rivals. Then after the Carolina matchup in week number 10, weeks number 11 and 12 have the Bears, and the Bears were in the playoffs last year. They're off the Detroit Lions former offensive coordinator is running the show. He has the quarterback up there who a lot of people had questions about. He is playing really well. They have them believing. Dennis Allen's defense is doing really well. They added some pieces in the draft, and the Bears are looking to make a strong step in the NFC North. Again, this is not going to be an easy game here in late November. This could be possibly a cold time game. Might be some snow up there in Soldier Field. We don't know what's going on, but we'll see how it all ends up. But this is going to be another rough game up there in Chi-Town. Us going up there is going to be a tough one. The Saints got to bring the running attack. Then week 12, we travel to the Cincinnati Bengals to take on Joe Burrow, if he's not hurt, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals are a bit of an enigma. We've seen them struggle out the bat with injuries and all this kind of stuff. I heard Joe Burrow say with his stuff about being tired of being hurt and all this kind of stuff. We don't know what kind of Bengal club we get. They've been kind of topsy-turvy, kind of inconsistent. How they'll play this year is anybody's guess. But this is another one of these games where, You can't take them lightly either. The Bengals are a team that can shock you. They got weapons all over the place, and depending on which team comes, they have very schizophrenic nature in terms of the team. But the Saints have to be ready in all of these road games. When you're going up into tough climates, then we have to bring the running attack and the run stuff in defense, and that's why I was happy they picked up Christian Miller and Travis A. Chain. They also picked up David Edwards, the big offensive guard from Buffalo. They added all these pieces, and that's why I feel good about the team. I think we'll do some positive stuff. Once again, I'm not going to make the predictions, family, until next week. I'll do a show kind of breaking each one of those down. Now, after both the road games of week 11 and 12, the Saints come home for the week 13 matchup against the Green Bay Packers. That's not going to be easy, family. That's not going to be easy. The Green Bay Packers have been beating the Saints recently. They have Coach LaFleur up there, and he's no joke, man. He runs a tight ship. Jordan Love is a solid quarterback. He is mobile, accurate, and improving every year. So Jordan Love, and he's added some pieces around him. The defense, all this stuff is they're trying to get him better. And Green Bay is trying to climb up again and be a juggernaut. They're trying to build that thing up. Green Bay, this is not going to be an easy win in the dome. This is the first game of December that we'll have. It'll be on the 6th of December. This is not going to be easy for the New Orleans Saints. This is going to be probably one of the toughest, if not the toughest game outside of the Steelers matchup, I'm thinking, that we'll play this season. Green Bay is going to come to play, and we have to match them. Then, of course, we hit the road twice against the Carolina Panthers, against the Buccaneers, and we have, after facing a tough Green Bay Packer team, do we then hit the road up against two NFC South rivals, the Carolina Panthers and the Baltimore Ravens. So after we do that, the next thing you know, we have to face off against these teams. We have to be able to not drop, these games to these teams. Back-to-back NFC South rivals, Carolina and Tampa Bay. That's not going to be easy. We got to take care of business against these guys and knock them out the ballpark, right? We got to fix that. We got to take care of business there. So that's where we at. So the NFC South rivals, both back-to-back matchup against Carolina and Tampa Bay won't be easy. We got to take care of business there. And then we take on the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals, this is 3 games before the end of the NFL regular season. The Cardinals should have some type of feeling about themselves. I'm not expecting the Cardinals to be a juggernaut. We know they do have some weapons, but really the Arizona Cardinals, I believe, are playing for the draft. Perhaps they might be the team that land Arch Manning. If he comes out in the draft, there are a couple other guys that's coming out in the draft that they could be looking at adding them as a franchise quarterback. So they might be in the draft lottery, or the top 3 teams looking for a quarterback come this later on this year. That's a home game, and of course we travel to Atlanta, and Atlanta's going to have it on their mind. That's the first game of 2027. We got 2 2027 matchups. We got the Atlanta Falcons to kick off the new year. 2 days after the new year starts, we got the Falcons on Sunday. It's a 12 p.m. Kickoff time currently. And then we have to just take care of business, man. This will probably be one of those games where that last stretch of games that we have, starting with the last 5 games are going to be interesting. It could be pinch time games, because what it does is they threw 3 NFC South division rivals in those 5 games. Well, actually, 4. You got 4 NFC South battles in those last 5 games, right? You got Carolina on December the 13th. December the 20th, you got Tampa Bay, and both those are on the road. You come home for Arizona, who kind of sets you up for Atlanta. We don't want to have a letdown like we look past it. The Arizona game, I don't think it'll be a trap game, because I don't think Arizona will be that tough of a team, being that they plan for a number 1 overall pick. So I wouldn't consider that to be a game that we have to watch for in terms of a trap game, right? But the last 5 games are 4 NFC South matchups that we have to take care of business. So you finish it against Carolina, Tampa, And then the last two, one the first game of January the 3rd against the Falcons and in their building, which is going to be tough. And then finally, you come home the following week. They haven't announced that they'll probably get to that in December and give you that game against Tampa Bay. That'll end the season. So this is not an easy schedule. They said the second easy schedule in the NFL. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm looking at this schedule. This schedule is not easy. A lot of these games are positioned in a certain way. Maybe if the Saints open the season up against Cleveland and the Raiders and then got into it, we're going to, something like that. But it's strategically placed where you're challenged right out of the gate in week 1 and 2. And if you're not on your game, you could find yourself 0-2 and fighting to come back up. So if you clean out 0-2 to the Lions and the Ravens and you face the Raiders, you get one, you got to take on the Falcons. If you don't win that game, you drop to 1-3 and you're in the chase position. We don't want to be that way. We want to come out strong and be ahead. I know they ain't going to win every game, but you want to compete and be ahead. That's what I'm looking at and thinking about going forward. So that's one of the things. So that's my thought process on the schedule, man. We'll get more into it going down the line. Now, listen, fam, I know the Saints aren't perfect, but goddamn, we just got the schedules. And the reality is they're already saying that the Saints open up as underdogs in 12 games in 2026. Hell, we just got the schedule. And now they saying, hey, man, y'all underdogs in 12 games. The Saints enter as favorites. Shout out to Canal Street Chronicles. They covered this in 2026. Saints schedule has been officially released. The sports book have begun releasing their odds with the black and gold entering the 2026 as underdogs in 12 of their 17 matchups. Now, hell, we just got here. We just got the damn schedule. And they're saying you're underdog in 12 of 17 matchups. Now, despite entering as underdogs in the majority of the games, sports books are listing the Saints to win at 7.5 games for the season. Now, we won 6 last year, so they're giving you a game and a half improvement, right? With Tyler Shough full-time role, right? So he can only win one extra game than what we won last year, right? And the Saints were granted one of the easiest strength of schedules for the upcoming season, with an estimated easier schedule in 2026. There are still tough stretches. The Saints open the season in back-to-back games against the Lions and the Ravens. Through weeks 10 to 14, they sandwich between two NFC South matchups with Panthers. The Saints will visit the Bears and Bengals in back-to-back games before hosting the Packers at home. Despite the lack of confidence and the Saints outside the building, there is plenty of optimism for some of the supporters of the black and gold. After a breakout stretch at the end of last season for Tyler Shough, Kellen Moore and the Saints front office completely revamped the offense, signing big-name free agents in Travis Etienne and David Edwards, while investing the 8th overall pick and receiving help from Jordan Tyson. So the Saints at a minimum will be an exciting team to watch in 2026, but they are favorites in just 5 games this season and a win total of 7.5. This is on the safer side, playing against the NFC South twice a year, facing teams such as the Raiders, Browns, and the Cardinals should warrant a bigger win expectation. Still back-to-back seasons failing to reach 500 have odd makers skeptical. When doing our most recent win totals, they said that that the writer was more skeptical than his peers, but remained optimistic that the Saints could go 9-8. While there are significant stretches that the Saints will be underdogs for a second year, Tyler Shough and Moore could be the big turnaround most of the supporters in the black and gold are expecting. The NFL lives by any given Sunday, and whoever enters as the favorite and the underdog doesn't always equate to the final score. This could be true for the Saints and their favorites and underdogs. In 26, they steal the games they appear to be completely outclassed in. They'll lose to teams who are tanking. Despite this, the hard reality, the Saints are open the season as favorites. Reality that New Orleans opened the season as favorites, just 5 games. This still shows the media is not yet high on Tyler Shough as the family base and the team is, which is fine, which is totally fine. They open up, they're saying the Saints winning 7.5 games by reading and looking at the schedule that we just looked at. You take a look at the schedule that the Saints I just put up on the screen for the family members. I'm going to do it again. They said that you winning 7.5 or whatever it is games of this. Now, obviously, what teams they got you losing to? They got you losing to all the teams that are worth anything. Probably got you beating the Browns, got you beating the Raiders, the Giants, the Browns, the Bengals, the Cardinals, and they in giving you one game against one of your rivals, right? That gets you maybe 2 games against the rivals. One other rival, you might split with another rival, right? Somebody going to sweep you. That's what they did. But I guarantee you they got you losing the Lions. They got you losing to Baltimore. They got you losing, splitting with a couple of teams and getting swept by another NFC South team. They got you losing to the Steelers. They got you losing to the Packers. They got you losing to the Bears. They got you losing to the Vikings. So they looking at you and saying this, that, and the third. Now we know they don't know what the hell they talking about. We don't know what the Saints are going to do, right? We don't know what they're going to do. But the expectation is that the Saints improve upon 6 wins next year. They'll give you that, say, man, I think you get 7 or whatever. Some people believe the Saints are going to do better than that. Some people believe the Saints will win 9 games. Some people are kind of saying it's 10. I had one of the family members, shout out to Sean and Tasha, said the Saints will win 13 games on last night's stream. Will that be the case? We'll see. Is that cautious optimism by the family base? Perhaps. But they're going on based on what they're seeing and what everybody else is accrued. And you never know until you actually get the players on the field. You can't win Super Bowls right now anyway on paper. So we have to all see how this stuff meshes and goes and rolls. And that's just how it all rolls and goes and how the side be. We just have to look at it. So we don't have any idea, man, how this stuff is going to play out. There's a bit of optimism there, but as somebody that been doing these streams for over a decade now, I could tell you straight up and down is that based on the energy, because you all can tell if something big's happening, you can feel it. You can feel the energy. Now it's not the same as when we 2 years ago, right, or 3 years ago, whatever, when we went 2-0 and we steamrolled a couple of teams before the bottom fell out. It was good. It was cool. But, we also knew that it's an adjustment period being made. Now, what I'm saying is we've seen the Saints run their offense with a lot of these guys hurt. We've seen them operating the offense. A great deal of our starters were out. We were operating with backups. Excuse me. Our wide receivers were Kevin Austin Jr., Mason Tipton, Pettis, all these type of dudes. Just third, fourth and fifth string wide receivers operating. What reason why I'm saying it is because Kellen Moore realized, hey man, we need more out of our receiving core if I'm going to maximize Tyler Shough's ability. By investing what he did in the draft, 3 wide receivers and 8 picks, and most of those guys, if not all of those guys, will be in the starting 5 or 6 wide receivers, depending on how many they keep when the season starts, will be there barring injury. So that helps big time when you have wide receivers that can run and guys have to pay attention to them, right? Tyler Shough has the ability to reach every aspect or every area of the field when he's quarterbacking. So at some point, when the Saints are tagging you and then you add speed, like we wasn't as fast as we need to be from a running back standpoint. So you had one of the fastest running backs in the game in Travis Etienne. The guy that runs inside and out, he can also be a receiver. So we have tight ends, 3 tight end package, athletic style tight ends, guys that can come here, block and make plays. So what he's doing is he even improving the offensive line. But they're giving them a chance to do something, recognizing we had a problem and the line and improving it is one of the key things we can do. We have to do as an organization is turn all this shit around. And that's what the Saints are doing. Now, will that translate into 9, 10 win seasons? You don't have to win 15 games or whatever to win the NFC South. The South the NFC South is a division that is getting better over time. Everybody's doing a good job of drafting and building up talent. They really are. What it comes down to is who gets the talent in there to execute first. Now, Tyler Shough appears to know what he's doing in Kellen Moore's offense. He appears based on what he did last year. You don't do what he did last year unless you have a well-grounded understanding of what needs to be done. You don't take out the rookie passing record and touchdowns and then in 9 games be a runner-up for the offensive player of the year if you don't know what you're doing. None of that is luck. So the idea is, man, if this guy, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, but we're going to make some tweaks and improve upon it and equate him more so because as he's doing this, he's going to take more of this offense as his own. and then have these wide, because most of these wide receivers are already practicing with him in the offseason. They know what time this is. They know what time this is. These guys are practicing off season. There is already an energy of competitiveness that's going on right now. Guys who are used to be having issues like Cesar Ruiz, they're mad and they feel like they got to be. So, like I'm saying, before that wasn't the case. People would sleep. They were sleepwalking on these guys. Now, some of these guys, they're not going to clog up and gunk up the works no more. They're being forced to produce or being shown the dough. Just like what happened to a very often injured Nick Saldiveri, showing him the dough. If Kendre Miller can stay healthy, regardless if he can stay healthy or not, they're going to show him the dough at the end of the season, no doubt about it. So the way I see it and look at it, man, is that we as a team just keep need to doing what we're doing, and I promise you it'll translate to victories. But they saying 7.5 wins for the Saints this upcoming season. I think that's a bunch of poppycock. Now, listen, before I get ready to leave out of here, I want y'all to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. This is something I also want to talk about. That for the Saints coming up in in this upcoming season, there are still areas of the team the Saints must focus on and improvement. We know that they did make the trade to get Tyree Wilson to be a member of the team, giving up a 5th-round draft pick from the Raiders to get him here. Very big, athletic guy, about the same size as Chase Young, same build, but hasn't been able to put together sacks like you would want to see. So you're adding him. He is a guy that Mickey put on the firing squad right away, meaning that he's not going to pick up the option for this guy. He's basically on a 1-year prove it deal, right? His schedule's not, his price tag, his contract is not very expensive. The Saints went and signed linebacker / edge rusher or pass rusher, whatever you want to call him, Anthony Jennings. Now, these two guys will compete for that cam spot. We know we still have Chris Rump, the third, operating on the opposite side, but it'll be Tyree Wilson and Anthony Jennings competing for the third pass rush position, meaning the spot what Cam Jordan used to hold on to, a position that produced well last year with 10.5 sacks. That's a lot of pressure to put on these guys that never done this before, but somebody's going to have to step up and take that position. And I not say do what Cam did, but do maybe half of it, maybe have 5 or 6 sacks. You're going to need some production. Maybe I would say respectable be like 7, 8 sacks, somewhere along in there. It's a contract year for Tyree Wilson, so he might want to step the shit up. But what I'm saying is the third pass rusher is very important. We have to figure that out. Also, the star position on the defense needs to be figured out. Who's the star in Staley's defense? Is it Julian Blackmon? Is it Jordan Howden? Is it Lorenzo Styles Jr.? Is it somebody else? We'll have to figure that out. That's something you'll find out when you get into some of the camps that'll be coming out of who wouldn't win and why and where these guys might end up. We have to figure that out. And notice how both those questions are on the defensive side, right? That. And then, of course, the third thing would be the center. And like, why? Who cares? Who cares about the center? Well, the backup center. We got McCoy and all this kind of stuff. But remember, McCoy has been hurt. He missed 20 games in the last 4 years. So it really more games than that. But it's just that's too much time. And when the man get hurt, he get hurt for half the damn season. We just can't go for that. We got to do better than that. And who is the backup center if McCoy goes down, God forbid? Who's the backup center? Right now, it's rumored to be Torricelli Simpkins III. Is that good enough? Torricelli Simpkins played the center position for the Saints a few times, but not good enough where I want to trust him to be my veteran backup center. That's usually something like we had Luke Fortner. We traded for Luke Fortner last year. Do the Saints do that this year? When we get to camp, find another Luke Fortner type or a veteran center that can come in and compete with Torricelli Simpkins for that backup center position. We want to be able to have somebody that we can. Not saying Torricelli can't do it, but at the same time, this is also a problem that we need to pay attention to. McCoy's health. We're not talking much about Eric McCoy's health because we paying attention to Cesar Ruiz and all this other stuff. But Eric McCoy, we need to focus on Eric McCoy. He got 2 years remaining on his contract. He's been hurt a lot, and I'm telling you, we need to pay attention to that. The Saints did not draft a center. I'm probably sure they'll draft one this upcoming year. But, following year, the next draft anyway. But at the same time, these are questions that we have to be able to answer going forward. The Alvin Kamara question, I think that's already solved unless the Saints decide to do something. the contract of Chris Olave, all of that stuff will be coming up between now and the start of the regular season, man. We'll keep an eye out. But outside of that, that's what it appears to me. And most of those questions I ask will be solved when camp start. That's what I'll be looking out for. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys in this broadcast. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Much love to you guys. Appreciate y'all listening to me on this Friday stream. Much love to you. I see you. I salute you guys. Big ups to all y'all in the chat. Much love there. Also, big ups to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show. Please feel free to give FanDuel some play. All the prop bets, make you some money there. During the summer, man, get you some bread on from FanDuel, man. They're doing it big over there. So with that being said, man, I'll be back with future content, man, breaking down the mighty Who Dat Nation. With that being said, I'm out. Y'all hit that like button, and I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace. Who Dat too.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thewhodatdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit thewhodatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.